Chapter 2. Later, with the kids down for brief naps, Gibson grabbed a quick shower, unlocked the door of her home office, and hurried inside. She had a cup of peppermint tea in one hand and an oatmeal almond cookie in the other. Her dirty clothes had been replaced with green gym shorts and a t-shirt and ankle socks. Until she did the next load of laundry, this was mostly it for clean garments. The slinky dress would definitely have to wait since she didn't have one, or the time to paint the town red, whatever the hell that meant. And with the tea and cookie, she was holding the mommy version of champagne and caviar. At least this mommy. The baby monitor was on the shelf. All she could hear right now was gentle breathing and a series of small snores that she knew came from Tommy. She let out her own long breath and wondered if their usual 1-hour nap timeline would hold today. The one predictable component of motherhood she had found was that no 2 days were ever alike. Then she glanced at herself in the drab reflection of her twin computer screens. Gibson was 5'7" if she stood absolutely erect, which she had never once managed to do since having kids. She figured her right hip was stuck out about 4 inches further than her left, and she had no idea if it would ever return to its original alignment. She didn't want to even think what her spine looked like. But if it reflected her chronic back pain, it was a real anatomical horror show. She still carried stubborn pounds of baby weight on her hips, buttocks, and belly, and they might be permanent for all she knew. Her dark hair was cut short because who had time to deal with long tresses? Her face was puffy, her skin blotchy. Her OBGYN had blamed postpartum hormone releases, which was something they hadn't covered all that thoroughly in the pregnancy books she'd read. The slender, dynamic athlete she had once been in high school and college was no longer readily apparent. As a tough, feisty, ball-hawking, elbows-throwing point guard with a wickedly accurate mid-range jump shot, impressive passing skills, and great court awareness, she could run all day. Later, first as a crime scene tech and then a street cop, and after that a detective, she had won the 10K competition for the entire department 6 years in a row, besting both the men and the women. The guys had been initially faster than she, but their endurance had petered out around the 5K mark. She had tried not to smile too broadly as she blew past them at that point. Now, the stairs were a bitch. She'd gone to Temple University in Philly and been coached by the legendary Dawn Staley. Gibson had also been a theater major and had been cast as the lead in a number of student productions at Temple. People thought she might make it to Broadway one day. After college, she had actually thought about dabbling in a career on the stage, but quickly found out that half-ass wouldn't cut it, because she would be competing against legions of immensely talented and driven people who were dead certain that Broadway was their destiny. Gibson had been a computer nerd growing up, as well as a serious gamer. She had taken college courses to enhance those skills because with that, she knew she would almost always be employable. She had once also had visions of trying out for pro basketball, but finally realized that she had neither the necessary athleticism nor the true game to play in the WNBA. She had instead opted to follow in her father's footsteps and joined the police force. He had been thrilled. Her mother, not so much. She had worked her way up to being a criminal investigator and then found who she thought had been the love of her life. His name was Peter Gibson, and he was tall and handsome and gregarious and funny. And she had come to find out too late he was also the world's biggest prick. He'd said he wanted a large family, but as soon as one baby was out of the oven, he had been a changed man, chafing at not being able to go out with his friends or having his weekends ruined by the daddy-do list. When she was pregnant with Darby, he had cleaned out their bank accounts and run out on her with his secretary, leaving Gibson with an infant and another baby on the way, and a mortgage and bills that could not be paid on her salary alone. She had searched for him, but Gibson had vanished so thoroughly that she wondered if he had some professional help in doing so. She had lost the house and had to leave her job with the force, and then she moved to Williamsburg, Virginia, where her retired parents lived. She had lucked out by joining Pro-Eye, a global private investigation agency that did most of its sleuthing online.